Isn't it remarkable how a simple, grim fairy tale, one we tell our children almost as a ghost story, can hold a perfect, frighteningly accurate blueprint of our modern world? We are a civilization obsessed with problems and solutions. We face plagues of finance, of ideology, of information, of social division. We are told constantly that these problems are rats, swarming at our feet, threatening our stability. And so we wait. We wait for the expert, the consultant, the charismatic leader, the new technology, the Pied Piper, to arrive with a magic song that promises to lead them all away. But the legend of the Pied Piper of Hamelin is not a story about solving a problem. It is a timeless, brutal case study about the catastrophic cost of betraying the solution. Welcome to Hindsight Lore. The myths of our ancestors are not just fables. They are strategic blueprints. And today, we are decoding one of the most terrifying. This story is a masterclass in mob psychology, charismatic influence, and the fatal consequences of breaking a social contract. It reveals a truth we are living with every single day. The moment you believe you are done paying the price for a solution is the exact moment you are about to lose everything you value most. We think the story is about a man who stole children. We are wrong. The story is about a town that, through its own greed, sold them. To understand the tragedy, we must first understand the town of Hamelin. In the year 1284, as the legend goes, Hamelin was not a happy place. It was a town in crisis. It was, quite literally, being eaten alive. A plague of rats had descended upon it. They were not just a nuisance. They were an existential threat. They were in the food, in the homes, in the cradles. They represented a total breakdown of order, a physical manifestation of chaos. But here, in the very first act, the hindsight lore reveals itself. The rats are only the symptom. The disease, the true plague afflicting Hamelin, was the incompetence and greed of its own leadership. The mayor and the town council were paralyzed. Their systems had failed. Their hard power, their wealth, their laws, their authority was utterly useless against a decentralized, chaotic swarm. They were a civilization staring at a problem they could not solve. And when a system faces a problem it cannot solve, it does not look for a logical answer. It prays for a miracle. It looks for a magic bullet. And then he arrives. The Pied Piper. Notice how the legend describes him. He is an outsider. He is not a knight, not a king, not a merchant. He is pied, dressed in colorful, mismatched cloth. He is an enigma. He is the specialist, the consultant, the disruptive force. He is the man who can do the one thing the entire system cannot. He doesn't offer force. He offers influence. He offers soft power, in the same vein as Anansi, the spider god. He carries no spear, only a simple flute. He approaches the council, and his proposition is not a plea. It is a clean corporate contract. Your problem is rats, he says. My expertise is rats. For a price, 1,000 guilders. I will remove the problem, permanently. The leadership, desperate and cornered with no other options, eagerly agrees. The contract is struck, the terms are set, the price is named. The town, in its moment of greatest vulnerability, has just outsourced its salvation to a power it does not in any way understand. The contract is clear. The problem is defined. The solution is at hand. So, why is this perfect agreement the prelude to a catastrophe? The piper steps into the town square. He puts the flute to his lips, and he plays. The story says it was a music so strange, so compelling, that it bypassed all thought. Let us decode what this music truly is. It is not magic. It is technology. It is a profound, expert-level understanding of the target's psychology. The piper's music was a frequency tuned perfectly to the mind of the rat. It was a signal so pure, it overrode every other instinct. Hunger, fear, self-preservation. He did not chase the rats. He did not fight them. He made them want to follow him. This is the apex of soft power. It is not coercion, it is compulsion. The swarm, the great chaotic mob that had brought a city to its knees, now became an orderly, single-minded procession. They followed the music, they followed the piper. He led them down the streets, out of the city gates, and to the river Weser, where they plunged in, one after another, and were drowned, every single one. The problem was solved. The piper had delivered on his promise, 100% efficacy. The contract was fulfilled, to the letter. He had held up his end of the bargain with perfect, terrifying efficiency. He returned to the town hall, his flute silent, his hand outstretched to collect his payment. And it is here, in the moment of triumph, that the true human horror of the story begins. The threat is gone. The rats are at the bottom of the river, and with the fear goes the desperation. The mayor and the council look at the piper. They are no longer desperate men seeking a savior. They are businessmen looking at an expense. Their original, foundational nature. Their greed rushes back in to fill the vacuum left by their fear. They begin to recalculate. 1,000 guilders? For what? For a song? He was done in an hour. It was easy for him. The price is absurd. They forget the value of the solution, their entire city, their lives, their children's health, and focus only on the cost of the labor. This is the hubris of the incumbent. It is the same fatal arrogance we decoded in the story of David and Goliath. The moment the giant believes the threat is gone, he underestimates the challenger. The town council believes, fundamentally, that they are now in the position of power. The problem is solved. The piper has no more leverage. He needs them for the payment. So they betray the contract. They offer him a fraction of the price, 50 guilders, take it or leave it. They have made a fatal, strategic miscalculation. A mistake born from the arrogance of hard power, their gold, their political authority. They have assumed that the Pied Piper only has one song. They believed his music was only for rats. They never stopped to ask, what else can he control? They have broken a sacred contract with an expert whose full capabilities they cannot even begin to imagine. They have insulted the one man who holds the keys to their entire social operating system, and they have done it to save a little gold. The piper does not argue. He does not negotiate. He doesn't haggle like Burm with the rich man. He simply turns and walks away. And in that silence, the town council celebrates. They have won. They have saved their money. They have outsmarted the expert, or so they thought. The legend says the piper returned later on a different day, a day of quiet, a day of worship. He returned to the empty town square, and he began to play again. But this was not the music from before. This was a new song. This music, this new frequency, was not tuned for the base, primal mind of the rat. It was tuned for the innocent, trusting, joyful mind of a child. It was a melody so beautiful that every child in Hamelin, 130 of them, stopped what they were doing and followed. Their parents, locked away in the church, heard nothing. The children, the entire future of the town, walked out of the gates, following the piper. He led them, just as he had led the rats. He led them to a mountainside. A cave opened, and they walked inside. The cave sealed behind them, and they were never, ever seen again. This is not just revenge. This is symmetrical justice. It is a terrifying, perfect, strategic message. The piper did not steal their gold. He did not burn their homes. He did not bring the rats back. That would have been simple, brutish revenge. No, his retribution was a work of art. It was a perfectly balanced equation. The town's leaders, in their betrayal, had made a clear statement. They had declared, "Our gold, our present wealth, is more valuable to us than our promise and our honor." The Piper's response was the devastating echo, "So be it. You have chosen your present wealth over your future, and so I will take your future." He took the children, the living, breathing embodiment of their legacy, the true wealth of the town. The town saved its 1,000 guilders, and in exchange, they paid with 130 souls. The cost of breaking the contract was infinitely, apocalyptically higher than the cost of honoring it. This is not just an old story. This is a blueprint for the dangers we face right now. The music of the Pied Piper is all around us. It is any force of charismatic influence, narrative, or technology that is so powerful, it can lead an entire population to act against its own interests. Let's apply the hindsight lore. Analogy 1, the political piper. A society is in crisis, the rats of economic anxiety or social division. A charismatic leader, the piper, arrives. He doesn't offer complex policy. He offers a simple, powerful song. His song is tuned to the rat brain, our deepest fears, our tribalism, our anger. He promises to lead all our problems away, to drain the swamp, to defeat the enemy. And the mob follows. They are hypnotized by the tune. The leader gains immense power by solving the perceived problem. But then, the betrayal comes. The contract was, "Give me power, I will give you security." Once in power, the piper changes his tune. The new song is no longer for the rats. It is for the children. It is aimed at the next generation. It is a song of pure ideology, a new curriculum, a rewriting of history, a total capture of the nation's future. The parents, busy with their own lives, wrapped up in the church of their own affairs, don't even notice. By the time they look up, the entire generation has been led away, not into a mountain, but into an ideological cave from which they may never return. Analogy 2, the technological piper. This one is even more direct. A new technology platform, the Piper, arrives. It offers to solve a major rat problem, the rats of boredom, loneliness, or inconvenience. Think of social media. Think of AI. The music is the algorithm, a frequency so perfectly tuned to our dopamine receptors that we follow it compulsively. The contract is struck. We, the town, agree. And what is the price? It appears to be free. We get the solution, the connection, the entertainment for nothing. The rats of boredom are drowned in an endless scroll. And so we betray the unspoken contract. We assume there is no real price. We devalue the service. We treat the piper like a given. And then he changes the song. The new song is for the children. The algorithm that was merely connecting us is now, as we are discovering, having profound, unforeseen effects on the mental health, the worldview, and the social development of the next generation. We are so busy enjoying the free service. We don't see the piper leading our children's minds to a place we never intended. We didn't pay the 1,000 guilders. We didn't pay with money. We are paying with our attention. We are paying with our data. We are paying with our future. The hindsight lore of the Pied Piper is a stark and terrifying warning. Who is the true villain of this story? Is it the piper, who acted with a cold, almost divine sense of symmetrical justice? He was a force of nature that simply enforced a contract. Or is it the town ITSLF, the leadership whose greed, short-sightedness, and arrogance invited the catastrophe? The story is a timeless lesson in strategic failure. The failure of the town was not just moral, it was tactical. They failed to show respect, not to a man, but to a system of power they did not understand. They kicked the hornet's nest and were surprised when the swarm came. The story warns us. 1. Be wary of magic bullet solutions to complex problems. A crisis, for rats, is often a symptom of a deeper internal rot, the town's greed. 2. When you hire an expert, when you engage with a power, when you download the free app, you are signing a contract. You must understand the true price. And 3, never, ever believe you are in a position to betray a force whose full capabilities you do not know. The debt will always be paid. The true horror of Hamelin is that the town was left standing. The adults survived. They were left with their gold, their homes, and their silent, empty streets. They were left to live forever with the crushing, unbearable knowledge of what their greed had truly cost. The final question, the hindsight lore, is this. Look at our world, at the music we follow, the platforms we use, the leaders we trust. What contracts have we already broken? And what terrible, symmetrical price is the piper? Patiently waiting to collect?